Hey guys, I'm RozaldVaneGAME, and welcome back to another episode of the 25th Ward, the Silver Case. Where we last left off was that, we basically were reading a bunch of emails. We basically started Placebo on the fourth part of it. I think it was the fourth one. It might be the fourth chapter, I believe. It was called Nagiri, I think, if I was, or Tagiri. I forgot which one. It was something Igiri, but I forget what was the first letter of it. I think it was Tagiri. I think it was the title of the chapter. But anyways, let's read this email because that's where we last left off. In that last episode, we also finished up like the previous chapter to this one, and we started up this chapter with a bunch of email reading, I guess. Anyways, rains of Porto Vecchio. The rain that had fallen for 3 days was about to end, and it was a cold, dim dawn. I was drinking tea and talking with her in my room. We had conversations like this pretty often. Back then, whenever we had the time, we'd talk. She hadn't slept a wink, but she didn't seem sleepy at all. She had told me before that she could go a whole night or two without sleep. To her, insomnia, migraines, and starving herself were like friends. But her beauty showed no signs of any sort of illness. There was a certain sense of class in the way she did things, like drink tea, to a point where even I, a woman, almost fell for her. How do you... Oh, hey, do you have any secrets? She asked me this as she looked at me over her teacup. Secrets? I returned coldly in a low voice. I knew that there was more to her query. Everyone has secrets. You should have some too. Stating things in a somewhat condescending manner was a habit of hers, especially when she was speaking to me. Having secrets, I thought about this a while. I imagined how I'd change if I had secrets. At the time, I hung on her every word, listened carefully, and was extremely interested. I don't like the 25th Ward. Her topics of conversation always changed quickly. Why are so many people dying? Because there are people killing them. That was my answer. Who's killing them? The Regional Adjustment Bureau. Where exactly did you hear that from? You know who. She had nothing to say about you know who. Why do the Bureau agents kill the residents? For adjustment. That's just a different word for it. What do you mean? You're just using that term as another word for murder. Yeah, it's a more professional sounding term. Maybe they're trying to finish them systematically. Murder usually has a motive. It feels like we're in some kind of suspense novel, I laughed. But she didn't smile in the slightest. That's funny because we are playing a visual novel that kind of plays out somewhat like a suspense novel almost. It's really interesting that they're just doing a little bit of like a... What was it? It's not irony, but like just kind of like the audience knows more than whatever meets the eye for these characters, I guess I would say. Anyways, even soldiers killing people in war have motive. It occurs when they see the enemy in front of them. Then what about assassins, hitmen, who get contracted to kill people? They do too, of course, but the word motive is a bit different. Let's fix that. She stared at me with a serious look on her face and drank her tea without looking away. You know, what sort of word that is? You know what sort of word that is? After speaking or asking me this, she went back to her commanding tone again. Think hard about it. I thought about it. Then 1 second later, I answered, murderous intent. As I said the words, she smiled briefly for the first time and slowly nodded her head. I feel like those are the characters from the 25th Ward in general, like the ladies that we investigated on in a past couple of episodes ago. Because it sounds like them talking about the situation in the 25th Ward in some capacity. So it makes sense that they were somewhat thinking about it. Yeah, this here. Is that a turtle? It's a turtle. Yeah, a turtle. What is this? The old master left us here. said that if a guy named Tokio Morishima shows up, then I should pass it on to him. I carved this. Huh? I remembered there was some sort of trick. Trick to this? Yeah, probably the shell. Okay. I have no clue what the hell that is, but sure. Oh god, there's more email reading. This chapter is all about the email readings. I feel like some of these things kind of feel interjected somehow. Like, I feel like the pacing slows down a lot without the conversations with the cartoon characters. But I think it's trying to paint a picture of some sort about a certain part of the story. And I think this is, like, their way of doing it, because emails to some other person would make sense of it. I kind of feel bothered by this a little bit, though, because it just paces down. The pace and the flow of the game starts to completely slow down with these set of 3 emails so far. 3 as in one of them being in the last episode, and then 2 being in this episode so far. Alright, Skies of Jeddah. I wonder what sort of feelings I must have had for her in the beginning. Maybe it was like how a little sister feels about her big sister. Back then I was pretty immature and naive, but we weren't actual sisters, and we weren't even friends or acquaintances either. I knew that. So our relationship had a sense of fabrication, or maybe something scripted about it. If this was about me and GLG, then I would be able to concretely say what sort of relationship we had. It was extremely simple and clear and beautiful. A master-servant relationship. Ugh. He was my master. Any order that GLG may have given me, I followed it to the letter, no matter what. It wasn't a bad thing. For me, being controlled by him made me happy. This sounds so weird. Being ordered to do something and then having to fulfill that order was pure bliss. God dang it, I don't like this. It's just a weird master-servant thing. I'm like, god dang it, stop it. She was ordered by GLG to be in charge of my training. He told me, think of her as a big sister, and learn a lot from her. So I did my best to follow her orders, and though that I was able to indirectly feel the same sort of pleasure. Yeah, so I'm gonna probably read it. If the quote is under a guy, I'll probably read it a little deeper in voice, I guess, in tone or pitch. But I was assuming it would be female all across the board because of how some of the stuff seemed like it's easier to read off of like that. But I don't know. I have no clue which characters are what, because sometimes these characters like blend themselves in very well that I don't know. What was complicated was that I had one more little sister. I don't know if she was actually younger than me, but GLG told me to think of her as a younger sister and to get along. But she acted much more like a person than me. She was a stupid and foul-mouthed and sarcastic girl. My big sister was Mailu. My little sister was Meru. And I was Meru. So this is the story that covers the Triple M girls. No, well, I'm labeling them as the Triple M girls because it's Mailu, Meru, and Meru, so it makes sense that would be the case. Anyways, apart from Mailu, GLG gave us those names. I don't think the 3 of us had ever all spoken together at the same time before. I had no memory of that. We may have once, but I can't remember it. Basically, both Meru and I were trained respectively by Mailu. So with regards to Meru, I thought of her as a younger sister who had been brought up in a different place from me. I had a job that I was assigned, but my job was talking with men in sex chat. Apparently, this actually had educational purposes. Sorry, my reading. It's early in the morning, so I kind of probably like have a bit less of my brain to react to what I'm reading, or not react, but like reflexes to read it properly. I learned about the world through talking in sex chat. I became really familiar with male psychology and sex and sexual deviation. I became able to pretend like I was having sex for hours. What's important is the flow. Just as a sponge absorbs water, I absorbed all kind of new things, and I became able to read the flow of conversation better and better. GOG had told me before that I was in possession of a really amazing ability. I'm guessing it's GOG, which is the guy, I guess. I think, if anything, GOG is definitely Kamijo, I think. Anyways, it's really surprising. Not even Meru or Mailu have the ability. Meru, I want you to try to read into my future. While I could read conversations, I couldn't read the future, so I told him that. But after that, I felt as if the real me was somewhere else. And I felt really uneasy, as though a small dark hole opened up deep in my heart. I was afraid that GOG would disappear someday. The real me imagined that, and it made my entire body shake with chills. The real me. That's right. I was a girl who was plugged in. Okay. No clue about that, but back to the bar. I knew it. Oh, it's Yagore. Yagore. That's what it was. Aha! The show came off. There's something inside. What's this? You mean you put that in there yourself? Looks like it. What a weird present. Okay, I got no other command anyways. You got mail. Mail? Okay, still wants me to just do that one command, which is... The mail function is locked. Input your lock number. I don't know what the lock numbers are. Ah, so it's locked. My birthday. What? I use my birthday for pin codes. Wow, that's pretty dumb. But I don't know my birthday. What? That's way past simply dumb. Well, we don't know. He doesn't know his birthday because he's kind of playing it like us, where he's trying to figure things out just like we are. Oh jeez, more freaking emails. Rocks of Adelaide. I don't know how to pronounce that last one on the subject line. That's right. Since I was a girl who was plugged in, the real me had never met Mailu or Meru in person. I simply spoke to them through the monitor all the time. It's the same as how I would talk with the sex chat clients. The only communication I knew was done using a computer that was constantly connected to the internet. Meru was in a similar position to me, but I don't know whether or not she she too was a girl who was plugged in. To me, it was something I don't need to know, as well as something I don't want to know. I feel like I should talk about the past more now. Oh yeah, I'll write about the first time I met GOG. The first time I met GOG, I was still the real me, with an actual physical body. But that physical body was bereft of emotion. So I'm guessing that GOG adjusted her via plugging her in, I guess, in a weird way. Why don't you know your own birthday? Because I don't remember. Do you have amnesia? I've never had enough or had much memory of when I was a kid. But recently, I've started realizing that I can't remember lots of things either. How come? That sounds pretty bad. But sometimes I can remember things. Like what, for example? Like this bar, for one. Oh, this place. Yeah, I felt like if I came here, I might be able to remember more. I see. What a weird customer. Sorry. Do you have a license? Huh? If you check your license, it has your birthday written on it, right? Oh yeah, I guess so. Looks like I'm way smarter than you. My license. It's in my wallet. March 27th. So you're an Aries. Okay, nothing else I can do still. I get it. I get it. March 27th? I think was the numbers. If it doesn't work, obviously you use the years. Yeah, you use the years, I guess. It's not the date, but the years, I think. But it is interesting that they blanked it out on that one, though. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of interesting that they chose to make it a blank, I guess. Clouds of Nomia? I can't pronounce the last one still. They keep changing it up, and I'm just like, it's getting more complicated in some places of the pronunciation circle. Let me see how much reading I'm doing here. Sorry, I'm just looking to see how deep this conversation of email is going. But at the same time, I'm kind of curious why or who Meru is sending this all to. Like, is it sending it to, like, to us, Tomio, or is it gonna be send it to whoever finds her messages, I guess? I was born in the 24th Ward and brought up in a dark underground space called the Shelter. Of the children raised in the Shelter, I was part of the third generation. Up until then, the technology to create completely controllable people had been honed extensively and was implemented there. But there were also many people from the Shelter who turned out to be less than perfect, and a few people who simply cannot be deleted for whatever reason. Actually, give me a second. Let me clear my nose. Like, it's early in the morning, and usually when it comes to this early morning, my nose just becomes very cloggy and bothering me when I want to speak or drink my coffee, which I'm still needing to drink my coffee anyways. So give me a really quick snap of a second, and then I will come back really quick. Alright, I'm back. We're good. I feel much better now. Okay, let me drink some coffee before I continue reading because my throat's like dying on me a little bit. So yeah, excuse me about that. Needed some drink so I can quench the throat. So I don't feel weird when I'm talking about or reading some stuff. Anyways, I was one of the ones who turned out less than perfect. This may make you picture a child who can't really keep up in school, but the reality of the situation was actually much more grim. So, before we continue, I realized that she's probably one of the girls that they manufactured in that 24th Ward story that we saw long time ago, I guess I would say. Yeah, because we know about the past where the 24th Ward was developing children to come off as similar to, was it Kamui, or there was another person on top of that was a problem in the society of 24th Ward. And he was like a murderer, and they were trying to make it like they were copying his kind of like identity and memories into somebody else. And apparently it seems like she was one of them. But it seems like she probably had something else in mind, or her memories contains this, but doesn't really actually go forth in following the same personality as it was previously to it. So I'm kind of curious about that. Anyways, also, I personally do not remember most of the things from my past in the Shelter. Apparently, all the Shelter kids have the same problem with remembering their time in the Shelter. It's not that our memory have been erased, but that it hurts to remember, so we can't. It was traumatic. It was GOG who taught me all of this. I first met GOG in a somewhat unseemly shop on the outskirts of the 24th Ward. The place was known as the Sale Club, and every day I would stand behind the counter in front of various types of boys. I was basically one of the shop's products, meant for more perverted customers. Then one day, Gioji showed up, and the very moment he saw me, he spoke to me. "You're a real girl, right? I'll buy you. So why don't you come along with me?" I have all sorts of terrible experiences with having terrible things done to me by the customers who would purchase me there. But at the time, I was completely numb to reality. There were times when I wake up in some strange bed in the morning, unable to move, and I'd find my lower body covered in blood and all sorts of filth. Oh. Ah, no. That's disgusting, dude. Ugh. But I felt simply troubled that I couldn't move, and I have no memory of being shocked or traumatized by it. But there were some times when I'd get really nauseous in the shop's bathroom and would go into panic. When that would happen, the shop owner would give me a kind of medicine capsule. So she's been drugged to kind of like calm down, I guess. But she has panic attacks, so maybe because her mind at certain parts of the moment doesn't feel things. But normal times outside of it, seems like she gets knocked out of it by panic attacks or stuff like that makes her remembers things, which is kind of interesting. That night, like most of the other clients, Gioji took me to a room in a love hotel, but it wasn't the usual cheap, dingy room. It was clearly a high-class VIP room. It had a king-size double bed and a plasma TV, and it had a huge, clean bathroom. And the bathroom had 2 baths that seemed to be for separate things. Also, outside the huge floor-to-ceiling window with lace curtains, there was a large wooden deck on the balcony, and installed in that deck was a big outdoor bath. The jacuzzi, basically. Gioji removed my clothes and put me in the outdoor bath. He was still fully clothed, and he crouched down in the round white bath and looked at me. At the time, my body was emaciated, my skin had an unhealthy bluish hue, and my bones were visible through my skin. Even though he was staring at my body like that, I didn't think anything else of it. Gioji held my head kindly in his hands, and he spoke to me. "Well, I said I would buy you. I didn't mean just for tonight. I paid for you to be released from that place." That night, Gioji and I slept together in the king-size bed with clean, comfortable sheets. Gioji didn't do anything rough with me at all. In fact, there was nothing of a sexual nature happening whatsoever. Furthermore, he treated me like an independent woman. Gioji used one hand to pull a book out of his bag, and open it up. He stuck out his other arm for me to use as a pillow to rest my head on. Gioji read aloud to me from a book written by an author named James Tiptree Jr. The book was called The Girl Who Was Plugged In. I was entranced by his voice. Okay. Interesting. I mean, it was expected because Gioji didn't sound like he was gonna do something creepy or anything. He only does things to his accord or his sort of plan, I guess. He seems like a guy with a plan instead of a guy with desires or whatever. What? I guess it's wrong. How come? This license. Maybe it's a fake. You mean a forgery? Hey, you're not... maybe. Sorry, I just felt like something poked my arm. You seem like a dangerous guy. Sorry. Do you have anything besides your license? Just a credit card. But it doesn't have my birthday written on it. What about your credit card PIN code? PIN code? I think it's my birthday. But I don't remember ever having used it, so I don't know. Jeez. Crap. Well then, how about... screw it. I'm gonna close up shop for the day. How come? Nothing. Just... kind of... I have a weak spot for dangerous guys. Oh, come on. Don't tell me she's gonna... Oh, more reading of the email. Oof. Well, it is kind of interesting a little bit. These emails do kind of give a good insight to... Sorry, I was looking at the time. Giving good insights to the story of GOG and how he's created or met the Mailu, Meru, and Meru characters, which is interesting to me. Blood of Caracas. The girl who was plugged in was a short story about an ugly, gross girl who tries to kill herself and is then plugged into the beautiful man-made Delphi and is loved by everyone and acts as a sort of advertisement. GOG told me that we'd tried something similar to the story. His proposal, as far as I was concerned, was in order. After all, GOG had bought my freedom for me, so no matter what he told me to do, it was my duty to follow his orders. Compared to Delphi and the girls who was plugged into her, the connections between myself and Meru, a simple recreation using computer graphics, was extremely low tech. The job with which I was entrusted was to act as a sort of operator, making Meru speak and move and show various expressions of emotions, etc. The digital Meru was made to look like Mailu. Mailu's expression and movements were captured and recreated in order to make Meru. Sometimes responses to clients' comments were displayed in a list in a window, and this was basically a chat program used to support conversations. And this was made based on the conversational patterns of Quarter's number one performer, Mailu, to make sure that it would be a hit. Controlling the system of girls who were plugged in was not really as difficult as it may seem. In fact, as a shelter child, it was the perfect job for me. Finally, I made my debut as Quarter as a copy of Mailu. It really was sort of my fate. Useless girls brought up in the shelter before becoming grown women were cut up and sold to rental shops for rich men to pick up. And before you know it, you're just a virtual woman hooked up to a computer. Until then, I didn't actually have any emotions. I had never cried nor laughed before. But as I chatted with countless men, I gradually started to get all of my emotions back. Actual physical sex and sex chat seems similar but are vastly different. The men type out these mysterious phrases. The melons are delicious, huh? Oh, the melons are twitching. Wow, they're so cute and delicious. Oh my god, that sounds so cringe. It sounds so awkward. Oh my god. I guess the guy's fantasy was like the girl's chest, I guess. Stuff like that flows across the monitor. I had no idea what melon was supposed to mean. So the chat program installed in my computer took too long to choose a response and decided that these words made no sense. So I went ahead and randomly said, "Oh really? You like melon, huh?" And the guy on the other side, even more excited for some reason, so I guess it worked. Oh yeah, I love it. I really love it. I love it so much. Oh god, the melon is coming. Oh crap, the melon here comes melon. I'm guessing that's when he was doing his... He's probably jerking off, basically, and he's just like... I don't know, this guy's... What the hell? At that moment, I laughed, just a little bit, and the computer graphic Meru also smiled at the same exact moment. After teaching me about what kind of place the shelter was and what sort of things happened to me there, GOG watched over my rehabilitation. At the time, I was doing nothing but repeating the same basic live chat performance at Quarter, over and over, but after a week, my skills had dramatically improved. I became able to completely and perfectly use the girl who was plugged in system. Being a girl who was plugged in was really fun. When a person keeps doing something they find fun, they get better and better at it. I think that GOG had a really good eye for talent. Excuse me. I was a genius at being plugged in. I gradually became able to keep up with the imaginations of all sorts of men in live chat. Meru can also speak out loud. As long as it was via the monitor, she would speak with clients using a mic and speakers. And as for the subjects used in chat, they covered everything from spiritual sounding, voodoo-like nonsense, to information on the latest cutting-edge gene splicing technology. I became able to talk about anything. I actually had no idea whether or not that was the correct way of rehabilitating myself. Basically, I escaped from my own physical being, fused with the virtual Meru, and followed the process to becoming a new independent kind of identity. Interesting. So it's like just kind of giving us a great history behind how Meru ended up being who she was or is. Here we go. What is that? What's this? This will help you figure it out. So what is it? It's an online skimmer. It skims the magnetic info strip on a credit card, accessing the appropriate server, and automatically hacks in and finds the pin code. Hey now, that's really something you got there. Some of the neighborhood thugs left it here. How did you use it? It's how do you use it, but I read it did for some reason. It's simple. Let me see your card. Here you go. Okay, here it goes. Transmission. What's that? I just like saying that. Oh. I guess we can talk. Who else is there? It's just the lady. Why can't we just... Oh, whatever. You enter in a 4-digit number, and if number and position are correct, the hit light will glow. If only a number is correct, the below light will glow. I see. So it doesn't automatically find out the number for you then. That'd be nice, but no. Okay, that's understandable. Alright. I guess she gave us information on how to use it. Okay, this is gonna take a little bit of time for me. Oh my god, this is gonna be stupidly annoying. Oh, so... So it's not 3 or 2. Let's see, maybe 7? Not even 7. Yeah, let's do one number at a time, I guess. This is like literally brute forcing for me. Okay, so it's gotta be 5? No. 4? Oh, there we go. It's 0. Okay. We haven't tried 6, did we? Okay, so it's not 3. 5? No. Oh, no, I did 5. What am I doing? 6. Alright, so that's correct. It's gotta be like date numbers, right? I'm guessing. No, definitely not it. Man, this is so complicated for no reason at all. Let's put 3. Nope. So it's not 3, it's not 5. Not even 7. 9. Let's try this to be 2. No. It won't get to the last number until I get this one right, I guess. No, I put 3 already. Oh, what am I doing? Ugh. Yeah, I'm trying to, like, figure this out. It's not easy because my brain is, like, trying to remember all of that. Not 7. We haven't tried 8. Nope. 9? Nope. I don't know, maybe 0? 0's close, it seems like. There we go. So 062 7? It's around here, it seems like. 8? Or maybe it's like farther away. Maybe 5? Yeah! Okay, so it's 0. So it's June 25th. Okay. Wait, is June 25th a significant number elsewhere? I wonder. Ah, more reading. Alright, well, I'm really overtiming it already. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. I'm sorry for just... I don't know, this episode is a little bit slower because of the fact that there's a lot more email readings to talk about, I guess. Not saying it's a bad thing that they're giving us more emails to read off of. But it's just like... I don't know, it's just harder to see this being important now when it could be probably drawn out elsewhere in the other parts of the chapters in the branch here, the placebo branch. But hey, you know, we gotta live with whatever we got, I guess. But yeah, I'm gonna end the episode here anyways. Let me save here in general. But thank you guys for watching. Hope to see you guys in the next episode or another video of mine. Hope you guys have a great, amazing day, week, and night, whenever watching this. So, hopefully in the next episode we can try to get Yagore out of the way, so then we can move either to Matchmaker or what was it? Is it Matchmaker? I can't remember if the other one was Matchmaker. The one on the top left. I don't know, at top left of the triangle. It was Matchmaker, Placebo, and Correctness. Correctness was the first branch we went through, or the first branch, yeah, the first branch we went through a lot more of, and hit the ending for. So yeah, like I want to go back to Matchmaker after Placebo here, but otherwise I generally think that it's kind of a lot slower in pacing because of the fact that how much this one's going through versus the other. So it's like, or versus the other past like chapters for this Placebo branch. So I am kind of like feeling like it's a bit slower in case of like what it's going through. But it does give us a lot of context of what's going on with certain characters and certain backstories for the characters that exist in this world. Anyways, other than that, the next episode we'll finish reading through this and then we'll see what happens throughout this last parts of the chapter. I'm guessing that the next episode will be the last parts of it because it looks like we're going to open up that... potentially we're going to open up whatever that's in the cell phone and then we'll get the answer to whatever it is, and that would probably be the end of this chapter, and that would be it, which is going to be interesting to me. But other than that, that's it for me in this episode, and yeah, looking forward to the next episode. Roz out.